Welcome back, Linda. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. How about you?
I'm doing good. Okay, so from the assessments that we've completed, I've created a dental hygiene care plan for you, which is a breakdown of the diagnoses that I've made up from the assessments that are created. Is that okay if I go through that with you?
Sure.
All right, so the first diagnosis is that you have moderate gingivitis related to poor diet, bleeding on probing, and heavy biofilm, which are all things that I saw during my assessments. So the goal statement with that is we want to reduce or sustain the stage of gingivitis that you're at to support your oral health, and we can do that through education, debridement, and oral self-care, and we want to see an improvement by the end of care. The second diagnosis is that you're at high risk for periodontitis due to, again, that poor diet and the heavy biofilm. The goal statement with that is we want to reduce that risk of periodontitis through, again, debridement, oral self-care, education, and we would want to, again, see that by the end of care. And the last diagnosis is that you're at risk of caries due to the factors related to that poor diet, again, and the heavy biofilm. And the goal with that would be to reduce that risk through debridement, fluoride varnish, education, and self-care. And again, to just support your overall oral health, and we want to see the improvement hopefully by the end of care. Okay, so Linda, now we're going to go through your 3-day diet diary that I sent you home with last week, and you filled it out for me. So now we're just going to quickly go through it. So your first day, you had a green tea with honey, some cookies, chia seeds. Lunch, you had some eggs with some sourdough bread, celery and carrots. Then for your dinner, you had some gnocchi with shrimp and cream sauce and some water. And then for your late night snack, you had green tea with honey and water. For your second day, you had a coffee with milk and honey, a bagel, more chia pudding. Then for your lunch, you had tuna with whole grain Melba toast, some more water. Your dinner, you had veal with Brussels sprouts and broccoli and cranberry juice, and some more water. And your late night snack, you had berries. A bit later on, you had a cookie and another coffee with milk and honey. Your third day, you had another green tea with honey. You had some sourdough bread for breakfast with peanut butter. Your lunch, you had eggs, red peppers, and some more chia pudding with blueberries and bananas, more water, and another green tea with honey and milk. Then your dinner, you had a burger with a Caesar salad and some more cranberry juice. And then your late night snack, you had a coffee with milk and honey. So from that, I'm seeing that with your tea and coffee, you are having honey, which even though it is a natural, it still is a sugar. But for a couple of the days, you did have milk, which helps reduce the acid attacks. Now, an acid attack is when the pH in your mouth, which is usually a 7, goes below a 5.5. And basically, when it goes below that, the bacteria in your mouth likes to attack the enamel or the tooth surface, and that's where cavities and can start to form and breaking down the minerals in your mouth. I'd also like to note the sourdough bread is a white bread, so maybe we could substitute a whole grain bread instead of the sourdough bread, as well as the cranberry juice. Maybe we could just have water instead of the cranberry juice, and as well as the Caesar salad. We could maybe change that into a bean salad, but you did put the pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds, so that helps reduce that acid attack as well. So Linda, from your 3-day diet diary, we have a decay promoting potential, which is a calculation we use to figure out what your sugar intake is. So from your 3-day diet diary, we break it down into liquids, which are like soft drinks, fruit drinks, if you have honey or sugar in tea or coffee. We also have solid and sticky foods like bananas, cakes, candy or chocolate. And then we have slow dissolving like a breath mint or a cough drop. So I calculated up to 25, which puts you at the 15 or more, which is for nutritional counseling needed for reducing your sugar intake. So you are having a lot of sugar in your diet from the 3 days, so that's something of concern that we can do further education on later in future appointments. So from that, I also have diet counseling from the Canadian Food Guide, which is recommendations from your 3-day diet diary. So for fruits and vegetables, I want to see that maybe you add in a fruit and vegetable with a meal like you did on the first day. You had celery and carrots, which are good because they not only are good for your oral health, but they also are a nice hard crunchy food that help even clean the teeth. So maybe adding something like that into your lunch or even the end of day snack would be something that could help your oral health. Then for a protein, like we spoke about, adding the bean salad instead of a regular salad, that could help increase your protein in your diet. Then for processed foods, though you didn't go out for the 3-day diet, when you do go out, what do you happen to order?
I usually order a pasta with them in a marinara sauce.
Okay, that's good. So maybe we could try and see if you can add a protein like chicken, or even see if there's a whole grain pasta option on the menu. Is that something you could do?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay. Then for your water intake, I don't have really concern with that because you are drinking water throughout the day as well with each meal. So I just want to encourage that you continue to do that. And then to close everything off, I just want to encourage that you continue your good food habits, as well as taking the recommendation I gave you, like the whole grain bread, cutting out the cranberry juice, as well as maybe cutting out the honey or adding milk to your coffee to reduce those acid attacks. Does that sound like something you could do?
Yeah, I can do that.
All right, that's great.